Okay. Am I live? Can anyone hear me? Can anybody hear me? If you can, type in the chat. This is majorly screwed up. There we go. No audio jack. Is it working? We can hear me. This is unbelievable. Okay. All right. So I get an email a few hours ago. And Billy was telling me this. My hair's kind of messed up. Sorry about that. Let me turn down some of these lights. Very bright in here. So I get this email. And it says they have these new age restrictions on YouTube. And there we go. Okay, so it says this. Let me read this to you. I'm not sure what this means here. Aaron's been telling me this for the last couple days, and he said, "Okay, YouTube, you have to say that you're not a show for kids." Okay, it says this. Important changes on monetization. Depending on the amount of made-for-kids content on your channel, you can set your audience to either the channel level or video level. Okay, so so one of them is no made-for-kids content. The other one is a mix of both made-for-kids and not made-for-kids, and a lot of made-for-kids content. But this is apparently not made. I clicked not made for kids. Right? I mean, it is made for kids though, I guess, isn't it? I don't even know. I'm not even sure what this means. Not made for kids. Why can't kids watch this? Yeah, this is weird. This is a whole new YouTube thing. It says these changes are required as part of a settlement with the U.S. Federal Trade Commission and New York Attorney General help you to comply with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. We know these changes won't be easy for some creators and required to change, blah, blah, blah. Please read below what's changing. Starting today, this is literally today with this stream, all creators are required to mark their content as made for kids or not made for kids in YouTube Studio. We will limit the data we collect on made-for-kids content to comply with the law. That means we will disable personalized ads in the content, which will affect your revenue, as well as features like comments, notifications, and others. You may see some small changes as we experiment and refine our systems over the next few months. For a list of affecting features here, why is this happening, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I understand this, but I don't understand how this works with YouTube. So, okay, Griselda says you are family friendly, but I'm family friendly. But if I click that this is made for kids, then I can't monetize the few videos that get monetized. This is confusing. It's vague. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to find out more about this tomorrow because on the live channel, I wanted to experiment here tonight. I want to come on here because Adam Neely is going to be here in Atlanta, and he's coming over here to the studio tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to go live on the main channel. So I will talk with Adam about it. I'd go for the adults only, even their channel's clean. People don't usually swear on here. Time to lawyer up. Jeez. This is really, I know this is so confusing. So I got to talk to the other YouTubers and see what they're all doing. Yeah, it's really confusing, right? I'm reading this. Levels of Harmony cage match, IBJ. That's right. Okay, so one of the reasons I haven't. Okay, I have a few announcements today. Would have been my mom's 94th birthday. So I'm thinking of my mom. Been thinking of my mom all day today. I've not been on here because I've been working to finish the ear training course, which is going to be released on Saturday. So what we're going to do is we're going to so anyways, I'll talk more about this. But yeah, Saturday's the day. Saturday is the day. Dean, your mom will be 97. Wow, that's impressive. Mom was the best. Play the lick with Adam. I will not play the lick. I don't play the lick. No, I'll get a video of Adam playing the lick here, though. But I'm going to go see Adam's band play tomorrow night. I'm really psyched about that. It's going to be fun. I'm going to go with Rhett. So that's going to be great. Yeah, so the ear training course. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a pre-sale on it with a discount. And it's going to be the first half of the ear training program, the first 10 segments. And it's going to be discounted. And the people that buy it on this will get the full one when it's done, which is going to be about probably 2 months till the full one is done. But this is really challenging, even the first half. The second half gets into the Dylan territory. But I am demonstrating every chapter I have a video on, and then every thing that needs an explanation, I made a video on that. Things that are really difficult, I made videos on. So I think it's going to help a lot of people. I'm pretty psyched about it. So anyways, what I'm not psyched about is that this is the dark YouTube here, where the player is black. This is really weird. I know a lot of people have their thing to dark. They set it to dark mode on their phones and stuff. And the browser is set to this dark mode. I'm not sure how. I need to get Aaron to get on here and figure this out for me. Yes, my mom didn't play Logan. My mom played the rhythm part to Hey Joe with me. Would I recommend ear training with headphones or monitors? Either one, actually. Whatever you're comfortable with. There's a speed element to the ear training course. There's different sections. Some of the sections have different speeds: slow, medium, and fast. As soon as you answer, it instantly moves on to the next one. But there's practice mode and test mode. In practice mode, you can do things as many times as you want. Test mode is, I explained this in the intro video, but in order to get a passing score, you have to get 80% on any given module. There's hundreds of modules. So it's and like I said, some of them it starts out very easy. It's like the Beato book. Starts out very easy, it gets very difficult. The ear training is not out. It's coming out on Saturday, it looks like. What we're doing is it's a web-based application or web-based program. It's not an app. So you'll access it through beatoeartraining.com. If you go to beatoeartraining.com right now, you'll see that you can sign up for the mailing list, but I haven't announced it or anything. And so this is what I've been working on for the last 2 years. It's in an app. It's an application. It's an app to me implies it's a phone thing that you download from the Google Play or App Store. That's not that. You can use it on your phone. You can use it on your iPad or your whatever. And you can use it on your computer and use a mouse and click with a browser. So it'll work with touch screens, and you can answer things. And it keeps track of your personal best percentage-wise and your speed for every section if you get a passing score. So you have to get, obviously, keeps track of your personal best percentage-wise starting at 80% if you get a passing score on it. So it's a program. It's a program, but it has videos to teach you. So it's web-based, so it'll work with Android, with Apple, with everything. It's a web-based program. So it's a web app used within your browser. Correct. There we go. Yeah. It's hard, though. I'm not going to lie. When you get good at this, you're going to be smoking with your ear training. So the first 10 lessons, they're really, some of the things, will test it'll test, whether it's you might have major versus major add 9 versus major add 4 chords. Okay, you may have it has inversions of triads. It has all the different modal triads. Lydian triads, Phrygian triads, sus2, sus4, all this kind of stuff. Be able to recognize these, but it will do one, like you go sus2 again versus sus4, and you have to pick one of the two of them, okay, and they come at you. Then you'll have, eventually then you'll have all the triads. After you get through all the different combinations, then you'll go through and you'll do all the triads. So it'll have whatever there are of them. Then it'll go through and you'll do seventh chords. You'll do all kind of sevenths. And when it gets to the final round where it has 15 different ones, it is hard. Phrygian dominant, Lydian dominant, major 7 sus4, major 7 sus2. It's got extended chords. It's got added note chords. It has a rhythm trainer in it. It's got interval trainer in it, obviously. It begins with pitch and timbre. It's very simple. It begins very simply, like the Beato book where it explains about intervals. But right into the lesson 2 is intervals. So you go from intervals, then you go to triads, then you go to seventh chords, and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's there are a few that are there are some things that are very hard. It's fun though. It's fun to do. You'll find. So I had some people beta test it. My friend Les Hall that you saw in the bass, played in the bass video and the keyboard video. So Les was one of our beta testers, and Les is a very competitive guy, and he wants to get 100% and get his fastest times possible on it. So that's the whole thing, is like you need to be able to react to this stuff really quickly and always be going for your personal best. But like I said, you can stay in practice mode the whole time if you want. But the testing mode is really where it's, not afraid, terrified maybe. Yeah. When it gets into the modes, the 10th section, there's going to be 20 sections, but the pre-sales for the first 10 right now. People that buy that buy it at a discount, and then when the rest of them come out we'll probably be done with it in about 8 weeks or so. Then they get that. They'll just have that. So, like the modal section, modal voicings is level 10. Level 10 out of 20. So modal voicings is that you play the modal chord, and you have to be able to tell what the scale is. But it also has a scale trainer where you have to say what all the intervals are in the scale as it's going through, and you can play it at different speeds. So, but I go on, I do a screen capture, and I show how to do each thing. So it's fun. It's like I said, for people that can master this thing, we'll have amazing ears. I've had people with perfect pitch, not Dylan. Dylan hasn't done this yet. I've had people with perfect pitch that have tried it, that have gotten 60% on a level. And they can hear all the notes, but you can't use perfect pitch. You have to be able to hear things. No, hearing the notes and being able to decipher it takes too long. So anybody, is there any plan to eventually make it an app? There's double K. So there's really no reason to make it an app, because it is an app. It will resize to your phone, and it will function as if it's an app. So it is an app. So there you go. Eventually, we'll be able to gamify this, where people can get on and play each other if they want. I mean, if people that want to go against other people, this is in the future, but we will have it set up like that eventually. But yeah, doing it fast is hard. When they come, as soon as you go, because there's no load time or anything, so you can go, you sit there and just like minor third, major third, major fourth, major seventh, tritone. You have to just react like that. But it's very fun. High score will go to Aiden. Aiden would have the high score on it. But it doesn't, people with perfect pitch, this will help them with, their relative pitch, because it'll help them understand intervals. So when they lose their perfect pitch, they have great relative pitch. Ear Wars. How does your ear training help when it comes to compose? When you're composing and you hear a melody, if you know what the intervals are, you can instantly write down the melody without making a mistake, right? Dave says, can you use a tuner? Is that banned? It doesn't matter if you have a tuner. A tuner's not going to help you at all. You can't use a calculator. You can't use a tuner with it. Tuner's not going to... it's faster to answer. It would take you longer to look at a tuner even if the tuner actually could tell you what notes they are, and then you have to look at it and then hit it. Wouldn't be possible. Wouldn't be possible. The tuner would tell you the notes, right? Even if it could do that, the tuner would tell you the notes, but you'd still have to know what the interval was. You're actually going through an extra step. So there's nothing faster with this stuff than the human mind. Is the beta available for the public? This will be available on Saturday, assuming that Aaron gets everything. He's doing all the final testing right now. I wasn't even expecting to come on and do this right here. To even talk about this. Well, I was coming on to say that Adam was going to be on tomorrow. And what else was I going to tell you guys about? This is why I have been my video output has been a little bit slower lately, and why I haven't been on this channel is because every spare time, every minute of my spare time has been spent on this. When did I start this? 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Aaron and I have been working on 2 years. So Griselda, thank you. Put a 10 spot. There you go. I see Adam's band. I'll put it in the tip jar. Absolutely. I'm going to tell people that are in Atlanta or within 2 hours from here to come down to the gig, and you can meet Adam and myself and Rhett, because like I said, Rhett will be there. So let's see here. The ear training course will be available on Saturday, Andrew. Okay, tell a story about my mom. My mom worked for the American Can Company. The American Can Company was around our town since probably the 1920s or so, I think, in Fairport, New York. There was a factory that was probably about 400 yards from my house, the house that we grew up in, which was a 3-bedroom house with 9 people and 1 bathroom. So my mom started working when I was in kindergarten, which was in 1967. She started working there. Now, so I was the 6th of 7. So my brother John was a baby. And so I walked her just to work the first day. So I would walk her down to the end of our street. Our street was probably about 300 yards long. On our street, out of those 300 yards, we had 3 families with 7 kids. There's probably about 30 kids that lived on our street. It was great. So I walked my mom to the end of the street, and then she walked down this road, Parse Ave, and walked over to the factory. The factory was about another 50 yards away. I mean, this massively big factory that was about 3/4 of a mile long. It had a smokestack, everything. So the American Can Company made 1 million cans a day, and it ran 24 hours. My mom worked second shift from 4:30 in the afternoon until 12:30 at night. So my dad would make dinner for her, which would be my mom's lunch, which would be at 8 o'clock. So I would walk over to the factory. It's amazing. Well, we had sidewalks. So I'd walk over to the factory and I'd look through the window and I would see my mom on the line. And my mom would be, they were used the tin cans at the time, but they made, so what did they make there? Coke, Pepsi, Budweiser, Jenny Cream Ale, any can that you can imagine they made there. 1,000,000 cans a day. I mean, they were the biggest, uh, they were one of the biggest can factories in the world. I mean, that's a lot of cans. They went from I think the cans were tin at first, and then they went to aluminum in the 70s. But I would go in there and I'd see my mom there on the lines, and the stuff would be flying through. She'd work in the, she had different jobs, but eventually she was an inspector. But when she was working on the lines, they would extrude the cans from the metal, and is that the word I'm thinking of? Extrude, and then they would make the tops separately, and then they'd pack the tops, and the tops then they'd have to inspect those in the line. Then they put the tops on and everything. Oh man, it was quite a thing here. But I remember going in there. They didn't wear any hearing protection at all. It was so loud. Oh my God. I mean, people would routinely lose fingers and things like that. That was not uncommon. No safety gear. They didn't wear eye protection or anything. They didn't wear hearing protection. So extrude is okay. Extrude. Yeah. Yeah, so what's up, Brett? So I would bring my mom lunch every night at 8 o'clock. She'd eat her lunch, and then she'd come home at 12:30, and she would eat her dinner. Okay. Then my mom would get up at 6 a.m. and she'd go to sleep. We'd get up at 6 a.m. My dad would be going to work then. 6:30 he'd leave, and she'd get up with the kids, and she'd make breakfast for all of us. It was unionized, yes. My mom was in the union. She would make breakfast for us, and my mom baked a cake every day. This is part of the story here. Every day growing up, my mom baked a cake. Now, there's 9 people that live in the house, right? So she would make a cake, and she did 9 loads of wash every day. It's insane to think about. 9 loads of wash. Can you imagine that? I know. So she did 9 loads of wash. I'm the second youngest. And baked a cake before she went to work. She got up, made us all breakfast, and put us on the bus. Then did all that, and then went to work at 4:30 in the afternoon. Walked to work and walked home. That's I should make a video about that story. It was it's crazy though. It's like sometimes I'd wake up at night and I'd smell food, really good food, and my mom would be eating dinner at 1 in the morning. She would come home and make herself dinner, or my dad would have dinner that he left for my mom. He'd be asleep. My mom would come home and eat dinner, and then she'd go to bed and get up with us. So yeah, crazy. She would make lunch for all the kids until it got to me. Me and my brother John always got school lunch, which was 25 cents or something like that for school lunch. But all my brothers and sisters had peanut butter and jelly or whatever my mom made them. But the cake every day, man. We say, no, my mom didn't. She wouldn't eat cake. But my mom lived to be 90. My mom lived on her own till she was 89. And had a stroke, actually, and that's put her in a nursing home for a year, and she passed away after that. But she lived on her own. She would only sleep a couple hours a night, She drank like 6 cups of coffee a day. It was in Rochester, New York. It was in Fairport, New York. It's a small town outside of Rochester. Anyways, so it was unbelievable. Just an incredible. My parents were both amazing, amazing people. So that's a story about my mom. That is a story about my mom. I love that. Jenny Cream Ale. That's right. Jenny Cream Ale. How long ago was this? So this is in the. My mom started working. My mom worked from 1967 to 1988, I think. Something like that. Italian question. Sweet cake. Definitely. But she baked different kinds of cakes every day. But literally one cake. The cake would be gone after dinner. So we'd have cake. We'd have dessert after dinner. And we'd eat the whole thing. Oh, brother. Anyways. It was that was fun. That was great. Best experience ever. Yes, that was my mom was born 94 years ago today, though. Any sayings that she had? Oh my God. She had so many sayings. You got to lay down to be a doormat. That is one of my favorite ones of my mom. Don't let people walk over you, you know? You got to lay down to be a doormat. Oh, my mom had a saying for everything. One of her neighbors said when my older siblings were babies, they'd spill milk all over the place and everything. And one of her neighbors said, "You got to buy one milk for the fridge and one for the floor." I like that. Andrea, there you go. There's the birthday cake. I see it. 35 cents milk money. Bring a brown bag. There you go. Was there a time that you made her really angry? Oh my God. Of course. All the time. No, my mom was pretty I couldn't do any wrong to my mom. It was my dad that was it was my dad that was tough. What other Joe jobs did I have? Oh my God. You mean regular jobs, Joe? Like regular Joe? I worked on a landscaping crew. I worked at a convenience store for a couple years. I worked the night shift at a convenience store during college. And this, I bagged groceries. I was a cashier at this store, Wegmans. I started working when I was 16. How did my dad learn golf? My dad's best friend was a guy named Frank Gruzetta. Frank won the U.S. Amateur in 1950. He was one of the best golfers in the world. He was my dad's best friend. My dad started playing golf with him at the same time. So my dad could shoot in the 70s, you know, when right when he started playing golf. My dad could shoot in the 70s until he was in he could shoot his age. And when he was in his 70s, he shed his age all the time. Yeah, so my dad was a very good golfer. And I've told the story, I think, of my dad having 2 holes in one round, which was like 60 million to 1, the odds. It was unbelievable. Nothing beats Wegmans. I love Wegmans. I wish we had a Wegmans here. Yeah, my dad had 2 holes in one round in 1975. He was in the New York Times and everything. Oh, it was unbelievable. It was cool. Almost had a third one too. It was 2 feet from the hole on it. Went just past the hole. No Kodak moments. Plenty of Kodak moments. My two of my siblings work for Kodak. My brother Lou actually retired from Kodak. Bring back Nick Tahoe's. So, a couple other things. So I had a Steve Lukather watched my video of the greatest guitar solos of all time, and he tweeted today that he was honored that I included him on that. It's like, honored? Dude, you're like one of the greatest guitar players of all time. What do you mean honored? And then he hashtag, or he put Neil Schon on there too, because they were both on there next to each other, 6 and 5. And Neil said something too. So I had Neil Schon, and it was really amazing to me. I don't think too much about stuff like this, but this was really incredible, right? So Neil Schon and Steve Lukather today, I'm talking like a few hours ago, tweeted about me in the same thread. Let's see here. He says, what does Steve say? Neil has a real future in this if he keeps practicing. So it said, Steve says, this is yesterday actually. It says, he says, I'm deeply honored, Rick. Thank you so much. I said, thanks, Steve. You have so many great solos. Tough to pick just one out. Then Neil Schon wrote right after that, thanks, Rick. Honored to be there with my old friend Steve. And then Steve goes, Neil has a real future if he keeps practicing. He's one of my faves too. Ha ha. I said, you guys pretty much invented the modern guitar solo. I wouldn't have any licks to play if I hadn't heard you guys. And Neil goes, ha ha. Somehow I don't believe that, buddy. So anyways, it's hilarious though to think that that Neil Schon and Steve Lukather heard me play. Steve Lukather heard me play Rosanna, and Neil Schon heard me play Stone in Love. And it's hilarious to think of that. When I grew up, you know, these were guys that I loved when I was playing guitar. Those two solos were, you know, 1981 and 82 when I was in college. And I remember learning those back then, and I love those solos. But to think in the year, 30 years in the future, that those guys would watch a video with me playing those two solos, I think is hilarious. It's so cool. So anyways, that to me is very fun. And that's an honor. Cause you guys know that I'm just a fan of these, you know, I have idols like everybody else. And I always feel the same way about them. It's, you know, I've never met either of them, and I'd love to. I'm going to interview both of them. It's going to be great. Good thing they didn't block you. I know, right? Andrew says, so basically when you start a song, you try to imagine melody chords and you have instrument. When you start a song, it's kind of different things for each time. But you know, ear training, how did I learn these solos? Because I knew where because I knew the intervals. That's how. It wasn't that I had I don't have perfect pitch, but I have great relative pitch. So, I mean, I have really good pitch memory as well. But being able, it's interesting because the first, I was telling this story the other day about that I had maybe it was in this video that I don't think I put the video out yet. I told the story about this band, the first band I was in. I met this drummer and he gave me a tape of songs to learn. This is in the mid 70s or so. And on the tape, there was 9 songs, and one of them was Long Distance Runaround by Yes. Another one was Don't Take Me Alive by Steely Dan. And he just said, "Yeah, just figure these out and come over to band practice for our first practice." So, so I listened to stuff. I'm like, "Wow, these are hard." and I didn't know "Don't Take Me Alive." I knew Kid Charlemagne, but because that was out at the time, '76, and but I remember learning "Don't Take Me Alive," learning that solo. And I went over to this guy Andy's house, and his brother was a great guitar player. He said, "I can't believe you figured those things out. How did you figure them out?" I was like, "What are you talking about? I just listened to him and I figured it out." I always say, it's not figuring it out, it's remembering it, right? Later on. So, kind of like I tell my friends that asked me how I remembered all those acoustic songs, like Keith. But I mean, all those songs, it doesn't, Ooh, that's a little bit out of tune there. But why does Todd keep asking me about Nick Tahoe stories? I never went to Nick Tahoe's. I never went out to places like that. What's my favorite song that never got recorded in a studio? I don't know. I don't really have a favorite song that never got recorded. No, I really sound like Steve Howe. I see that in the comments sometimes. I sound like Steve Howe. I don't sound anything like Steve Howe. People must not know what Steve Howe sounds like. Well, that was Steve Howe, though. Where'd I get all my lights for my videos? I bought them on Amazon. I don't know if you're talking about the lights, the lights that I use for lights that I use for videos. They're pretty cheap. I use these LED lights that are pretty inexpensive. They're like $40 for a light, something like that. So I found out that me, Rhett, and Dave are going to be at the Gibson the Gibson exhibit at the NAMM show in January. We're going to be doing a talk there at the Gibson booth on the Friday. Oh, I do have an aperture light right here. That's an aperture light. That's a big diffuser. But the rest of them are just these small lights like this. They're just on stand. They come with a stand. They're like $40 or so. Do you see me using a Zoom recorder from my videos? Yes. I have a Zoom recorder that I use for my videos. A H5 or so. I love that aperture light. It's unbelievable. That was a thing that I learned about on YouTube, honestly. It was maybe Peter McKinnon, one of the photography shows. Rhett told me to get the light. He said you need to get this light. And I said, okay. H6? Yeah, H6 Zoom is what I have. So I've got a little shotgun mic that I started using just in the last few videos. I don't know if any of you have noticed. Maybe it's not for every video. I'm trying to think of when if I used it on one of these new videos. Yeah, those photography channels are great. Honestly, that's how I learned, and everything that I know about with this stuff is through from YouTube, just like everybody else. Where else do you learn about this stuff? Yeah, the shotgun mic is great. Do I connect it to your camera when it's live? I've now when I use my nice camera here, I'm just using my camera on my computer. I'm using this mic here, that Samson mic that Pete Thorne told me to get. This one here that I've had forever. It's cheap mic. It's like $100 mic or something. But it works great. When I say cheap, it's kind of noisy. The casing of it. It's not a super high quality mic, but I think it sounds good. And it's got a 1/4-inch input. It's got a mic volume, instrument volume, and a headphones volume on it, which is really great. It was very let's see here. Yeah, Logan, I'm going to ignore that. Your Kurt Cobain comment. That would be one that I that would be a band hammer, but I'm not in a band hammering mood. It's a podcasting mic, good for that. The Samsung mic, yeah. I think that I saw Pete using it on a video on a live stream, and I called him after. He had a great guitar sound. He was using a Helix right into the back of his right into the back of the microphone. Look, I have Neve mic pre's. I could be recording this with I could be using my shotgun mic into a Neve, but it's not really gonna make that much of a difference for voice at this point. All right, so that's it. I think I'm done for today. I had to practice streaming here so that I don't screw up tomorrow when Adam's here. Don't worry about it, Logan. Yeah, this is the Samson's a large diaphragm mic here. So it has three things. This knob is the microphone volume, instrument volume here, because it has a thing for instrument, and there's your headphone thing. So I can plug my Helix in there, And then it's got an overall volume right there that's for the headphones, and it's great. It's got a mute on it. It's killer. You can record it you can have it in 2-track mode, so you can actually record 2 separate tracks. So tomorrow I'm going to go live with Adam around 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. Adam Neely, yes. Me and Adam Neely. And for those of you that live near Atlanta, within 2 hours, you should come out and see Adam's band playing. They're playing at Smith's Soul Bar, and I'm going to be there. You can meet me and Adam, and you can meet Rhett Shull and Dave, who's on our videos. If you want to meet us in person, come on out to the show. You guys are the best. Oh, see you tomorrow afternoon on the stream with Adam. Yes, Adam Neely. Smith's Old Bar. Tomorrow night, his band, Sungazer, is playing. Look it up. I think they're playing at 7:30 or 8. It's early show. It's an early show. But look at Smith's Old Bar. All right. Camilo, what's up, man? I'm just going off right now, Camilo. Give me a call.